Hey everyone, let's get started in session 4. So the topic of session 4 is diversity consciousness, which is the title of your textbook. I'm lucky I get a textbook in paper form. I do apologize for your e-text. It's not my favorite, so I do apologize for that. But we are finishing up chapter 1 this week, and you only have just a tiny bit of reading from pages 24 to 28. So on page 24, you're going to start with the section entitled Diversity Myths, and then you will finish up on the very bottom of page 28. So a short little bit of reading this week, but huge in terms of things we need to be aware of. So you will finish the reading and or do the reading while you are doing the session 4 reading notes. So we will kind of walk through this together so you know what is supposed to happen. Making a copy of those notes, you will see my information has been put in on the left. Again, you are adding your information on the right in a different colored font. This week does have a reflection in the middle, so I've tried to make that a little more clear for you there. And then there are some summary questions at the end. Once you are finished with those reading notes, you will then do a couple of things that I hope will be great personal enhancements for you to kind of hone in on your own diversity consciousness. And so I will show you both of those as well. The first is the Visible and Hidden Diversity Organizer, and then the second is the Autobiographical Brainstorm. So when we look at the Visible and Hidden Diversity Organizer, this is going to be a small activity where you just really take a look at you and yourself and try to put yourself in everybody else's shoes when they are looking at you. So when someone is looking at me, what can they see? So on the outside, and I just want you to go through here and you can make a bulleted list. I would love to see some extra effort and some creativity here. Perhaps different colors of fonts, maybe some images that go along with the words that you use here. And you can make this box that I've created here just as long as you want. So you can just add to that and edit that box as we go. And then I want you to take a few minutes to really kind of think about, okay, well, it's easy for people to make assumptions about me based upon what they see when they're looking at the outside of me. But what really makes me me? Why am I a diverse person? How am I different from other people? And people can't see this about me, all right? And so I want you to put that on the right-hand side. So what people cannot see about you when they look at you. And a lot of times this column really truly makes us who we are. The things that people can see on the outside are just superficial. They're things that we honestly can't even control. We cannot control the color of our hair, of our eyes, of our skin, but we can control things that are on the inside. And so just take some time to really dive into your personal diversity, what makes you, you, and have some fun making these lists. When you get finished with that, we will once again jump to the autobiographical brainstorm. This one's probably my favorite. So I am going to ask you to analyze all of these dimensions of diversity and explain how they relate to you here. So I've tried to put as much information as possible to kind of guide your thinking here. I do have 4 uniform bullets under each section, but you may have to add more, or you may not have but just a few in each section. So just feel free to add or formulate however this pertains to you. So for this autobiographical brainstorming, we're going to loop back to this in the future inside of the course, but I want you to think about how these dimensions of diversity apply to you. So go through here and list the types of environments that you have lived in, because those things change us. They make us who we are. We're going to talk about your social class background, and social class would mean, poor, middle class, wealthy, those kinds of things. And I've put some guided questions here for you as well. I want you to look at your heritage, because our heritage truly does influence the way that we're brought up, the communities that we live in, the holidays that we celebrate, the social and economic opportunities that you have or have not had. Again, that really goes back to the dimensions of our diversity, our social class, our gender, our cultures. And then a few more here, your cultural encapsulation, so your exposure or the lack thereof to other cultures. This topic, diversity consciousness, was identified and defined in your notes. So you're going to talk about your own diversity consciousness here and your sphere of influence. So who has had influence on you, and who might have influence on you in the future? And when we talk about influence, we might mean good or bad. I can tell you that there are people that influence all of our lives that are positive influences and negative influences. And so who are those people? And when you kind of look at this list, once you get finished, you are going to see a true picture of who you are and how you got to be the person that you are today. And then just complete that little reflection here at the bottom. What did you learn through doing this activity? So a lot of this in this particular section is really turning the lens on yourself and looking in pretty deep. And there was a few things that I wanted to bring up in the video here that are in your text that I just thought were really important this week. So you will learn through the reading and the notes this week that diversity consciousness really talks about our understanding and our awareness and the skills that we have surrounding the idea of diversity. But one of the things that stuck out to me in the text was a sentence that says, diversity consciousness requires lifelong soul searching, lifelong self-reflection, and active learning. And that just stuck out to me because I think that is hugely important. And for me, in my studies in sociology, one thing that I have gained is reading books, even if they're fiction, and focusing on books with sociological concepts in them has given me an opportunity to really be a lifelong learner of diversity. I have a favorite author from North Carolina. His name is Wiley Cash, and he has now 4 books published, and they all deal with kind of a deep sociological concept, and they're all based inside of North Carolina. And he does a fantastic job of really kind of putting you in someone else's shoes. He touches very deeply on race and social class. And so if you're looking for a great book to read, Wiley Cash is a fantastic author to kind of put you in somebody else's shoes. And then the last thing that I'll share before I let you go is a quote from Dr. Ben Carson, who is a world-renowned surgeon, but you may know his name from politics several years back. He states, and it's in your text, that it's a mistake to think that somebody else's problems and struggles don't affect us. And so that's so important when we're talking about diversity, because a lot of times if you just put the struggles of another set of people just out of your mind, you think it doesn't affect you, when in fact it does. And his statement says that all of our ancestors came to this country in different boats, but now we're all in the same boat. And if part of that boat sinks, eventually the rest of us are going to go down too. And so I just thought that was important to kind of highlight and bring up, that it is in fact important for us to embrace everyone's diversity, that we can't just ignore it. We're sometimes get focused on the, oh, well, I don't see that people are different from me. I just, treat everybody the same. Well, you should treat everybody the same, but you should also honor the fact that there are differences. And sometimes people really want to celebrate those differences or talk about those differences and how they've shaped their experiences and made them into the people that they are today. And so we shouldn't look the other way when we are looking at people that are around us. So I hope that you enjoy session 4. Shoot me an email, reach out to me if you're having any questions or concerns, and I will see you guys soon.